Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice, where with Manju Buns, alcoholic Manju Buns, on their way by wing attacker, we have a little bit of an in-between period before we head back into courtroom number 4, which we're doing right now. Let's feed Uendo this bun! As Taka finds the favourite perch. Now the sweet buns have arrived, this court is back in session. Go on, Uendo. Eat up. Nice flavour. You can really taste the sake. Oh, that was delicious. Yes, a unique sweetness and the faint aroma of sake. Yet I hardly think that anyone could pass out from eating something like this. What's the matter, Uendo? You're not afraid of a tiny manju, are you? Or are you scared of how many calories it has? Don't be ridiculous! A sweet little snack like this couldn't possibly... I mean, it could never... Less bleeding, more eating, witness. Fine. Whatever. Everyone eats messily. See? I told you. It don't affect me in the slightest. We might be a lightweight. But come on. Nobody's that light. Seriously. Nobody gets drunk off of one little bun. Are they like seals that have just fallen? Dun dun dun. What's coming forth? It looks like it worked. Oh my! Witness, please tell the court your name and occupation. Oh. Oh. My name is Owen. I'm 5. You did look like a child, yes. That's weird. You're 5 years old? Am I in trouble? Please don't yell at me. Ooh. So he's Uendo's 4th personality. I'd hardly think a child like him could have a motive to murder the victim. And even if he had a motive, could he have actually committed the murder? That's a very good point. Owen does appear to be very timid and weak. Oh. It seems the defense was hoping this hidden personality would be the real killer. But now that he is standing here before us, it is clear that none of Uendo's personalities can be the killer. Ah! Where can I even go from here? Shisho. Owen, do you know something about what happened to your master? Wah! Come on, buddy. Won't you tell Auntie Athena what happened? Wah! What a scary lady! I'm not scary. Look at Auntie's big smile. Tell me about your master, please. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Okay. Shisha was super nice. He always played with me. Just like a real grandpa. I love Shisha. Athena, do you sense anything behind his words? I sense his sadness. Sadness so pure it's heartrending, but no discord. Prosecutor Samadi is right. Owen isn't the killer. But then, don't you find it odd? Find what odd? Let's review what we've learned so far. Uendo rearranged the clue cards to pin the blame on Bucky. Well, that's because the original message implicated Owen. But Owen is only 5 years old and absolutely adores Master Tornado. Exactly. The other 3 personalities also have no motive for murder. If Owen isn't the true culprit, then the person who first laid out the cards probably wouldn't have been Master Tornado. So then,
who did it?
Defense? Did the appearance of Owen help you figure anything out?
Yes, Your Honor. I now know who it was that first laid out the Khura'in cards.
But I thought it was the victim, right?
No, Your Honor. I don't believe it was. The one who first arranged the Khura'in cards on the table was none other than the true killer, Wet Noodle number 3, Uendo's 5th personality. I mean, the true killer is the very generic statement to make on this one, so let's give it a go. I believe the person who laid the cards out is the very person who killed Taifu Tornado. How quickly you move on to a new target when your Owen theory proves false. You Polkunen. Not that again! I don't know what a Polkunen is, but I know I'm definitely not one. And before you start with the sermons, why don't you hear me out?
Yes, let's hear the defense's reasoning. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. But if you are bluffing, I won't go easy on you.
Not bluffing, it's just the only way it could be. I understand, Your Honor. Now then, please recall the original crime scene. Who did the Khura'in cards name when the scene was discovered?
Let's see. I believe they implicated the defendant, Bucky Wet.
That's right, but we then found out that the message originally read Owen 4th.
Which implicated the young boy Owen.
Exactly, and the person who rearranged the cards was undoubtedly Uendo.
Uendo may have kept silent, but we can be sure that he already knew his master was dead. His tampering with the crime scene using the TV all but proves it.
I confess. I tampered with the crime scene.
The reason Uendo rearranged the Khura'in cards and moved the TV was because he saw the Owen 4th message and was convinced Owen had committed the crime.
Well, Prosecutor Blackwell, it would seem that Owen and the other 3 personalities don't share the same memories. But really, there is no 4th personality. It's just the 3 of us in here. Uendo feared that Owen had killed Master Tornado, so he tried to hide Owen from us. Oh.
But it turns out Owen is but a 5-year-old child, incapable of hurting a fly, let alone his beloved master.
So naturally, the culprit must be somebody else. And this somebody else, the true killer, tried to pin the crime on Owen.
I see. That does make sense.
This is naught but conjecture, composed of half-truths and fantasy. Who then do you maintain murdered the victim? I believe Owen might know something about that. I refuse to allow such impromptu testimony, and from a 5-year-old no less. Such a young child is capable of producing anything coherent. But... Your desperation is disgraceful. You should realize when it's time to let it go and... I saw it. I saw Shisho getting... Owen! You do know something, don't you? Yeah.
Oh my! Is this true? If so, we must have Owen testify immediately. Don't you agree, Prosecutor Sad Maddie? It's all right, Owen. Go ahead and tell us what you know.
I saw it. Shisho was standing with a knife in his hand. Blood was dripping onto Shisho's face, getting it all red. I couldn't move at all. I was so scared, I passed out. Was there any blood on him? This is eyewitness testimony from the moment of the murder. Owen, can you tell us anything else about what you saw? I was so scared. Oh, so scared. Owen, his emotions are spiraling out of control. Something must have really frightened him.
Is he all right?
His emotions are running wild because he's trying to recall something frightening to him. I recommend a therapy session right away.
I see. Yes, please do whatever you can to help the poor boy.
Will do, Your Honor. I better find the cause of these out-of-control emotions pronto. Shisho was standing with a knife in his hand. Blood was dripping onto Shisho's face, getting it all red.
See, this is just weird. Was there any blood on him?
I couldn't move at all. I was so scared, I passed out.
So, what we're looking at here, literally the only thing that's interesting out of all these statements here, considering we're probing, it's what's causing that, is the blood was dripping onto Shisho's face, getting all red. I mean, that could have just been preparing the sober stuff, but what happened here? We need to know more. So I'm guessing that's what we'll be probing? Indeed.
Got it.
Not a guess, more just really know.
Yeah, blood was dripping down onto Shisho's face. Blood? I don't remember seeing any blood in the crime scene photos. Besides, if the victim was standing upright, how could blood drip down onto his face? As I expected, all he managed to obtain from this child is a tale he dreamt up. I guess it's a little weird for blood to drip onto the victim's face if he was standing up. Unless it dripped down from the ceiling or something. What do you think, Simon?
I don't know. Owen's one confused and upset kid right now, so who knows how accurate his memory is. Maybe it's time for that thing instead.
Huh? What thing?
That thing that you and your cohorts do. What do you call it? Rotate your thinking about?
Oh, you mean turn your thinking around?
Yes, whatever. It's the same thing either way.
No, it isn't. Who's ever heard of rotating your thinking? I mean, rotate is... Hey, wait a minute.
What?
You know what, Simon? In this case, I think rotate just might work perfectly after all.
Come again.
All I have to do is rotate things by 90 degrees. When he saw his master, Owen must have been lying on the floor doing a handstand press flat against the wall.
Lying on the floor by the sound of it then, 90 degrees. Doing a handstand for definite.
Owen must have been lying on the floor when he witnessed his master's murder.
What?
That's the conclusion I arrived at when I rotated my thinking by 90 degrees. Which means that all the visuals in my matrix were off by 90 degrees.
And...
This means Master Tornado was also lying on the floor, which solves another mystery.
And which mystery is that?
The mystery of how blood could have been dripping onto the victim's face. It becomes much easier to imagine how that could happen if he was lying down. Like someone bleeding onto Master Tornado from somewhere up above him. I remember now. Somebody was sitting up on top of Shisho. So trying to recall his master's bloody killer is what spooked Owen originally. The blood that stained the victim's face red came from the person sitting on top of him. The victim was holding a knife, so he likely nicked his attacker as he was fighting back. This means his assailant was injured on their face somewhere, like the forehead perhaps? Assuming the victim and his attacker were face to face, then yes.
I see. So that is what happened.
But if I recall correctly, the accused has a fresh bandage on his forehead, does he not? That injury of Mr. Wet's
is conclusive evidence that he committed this murder. You never know, he could have been one of those people who put those weird, like, lines in their eyebrows to look cool and just maybe messed it up a bit. Or tried to trim his eyebrows and ended up taking off a big chunk and just covering it up. Hey, I would. Maybe he wears the plants to look cool. There are lots of people who do that. In Japan, supposedly. Animes and stuff. Yeah, cool. It's not conclusive evidence when you consider all those factors.
Why? Come on, just spout out some crap like I did. It seems you have dug yourself into a pit you cannot crawl out of. No! Even though I figured out the reason for Owen's out-of-control emotions, all I did was raise further suspicion against my own client. What do I do now?
What's the matter? You aren't thinking of throwing in the towel, are you?
Well, it looks so bad for Bucky. I mean, he had both motive and opportunity. Plus, he has that injury on his forehead. Your Honor, I sense that the defense is finally ready to let it go and move on.
Well, Miss Sykes, I understand that you don't want to give up on your client, but I won't allow you to prolong this trial without a good reason.
Well, that lawyer did her best, but all the signs point to the defendant's guilt. Maybe it's time she gave up. She tried everything she could. I really don't want to back down, but...
Silence. Ah. Athena, are you having doubts about Bucky's innocence?
I wouldn't say that. It's just...
Do you remember what you said to Bucky early this morning?
You mean, you believe me, ma'am? Of course, no matter what, I'll believe in you to the very end.
Were those just empty words?
Of course not. It's just that all the cards are stacked against us.
Are you still stuck on that line of thinking? Motive, opportunity, and an injury to his forehead. Is that all it takes to make you stop believing in your client? Tell me again, who are you to Bucky?
I'm his Miss Chickadee lawyer.
Then do your duty and believe in him until the very end.
I will. Simon's absolutely right. I'm Bucky's lawyer, and he's depending on me.
Defense team, please. No fighting in my courtroom.
The defense is ready to resume, Your Honor. Prosecutor Blackwell was just giving me a pep talk, that's all. Thank you, Prosecutor.
I didn't do it for your sake. I did it for the future of Wet Sober.
Yeah, I got it. The defense would like to now continue with Owen's therapy session.
Owen, would you be alright with that?
Okay. So somebody was sitting up on top of Shisho, bleeding from their head, and smooshing something into Shisho's face. That's funny.
What is it?
I still hear discord in Owen's voice, but I don't sense any inconsistencies between his statements and his emotions. And there don't seem to be any contradictions in his testimony itself either.
Ah, so that's it, huh?
Did you figure something out?
Your ability to sense emotions is making you focus too much on his feelings, Athena. But there's actually something he's being very vague about in his testimony. If you can clarify what he's feeling uncertain about with some evidence, you should be able to move forward from there.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll give it a try. I'll just update the mood matrix with the new information and then we'll be ready to go. So I just need to present some evidence on what Owen is being vague about, huh?
Okay, what do we got?
Free statement. Shisho had blood on his face and a knife in his hand. He was on the floor and somebody was smooshing something into his face.
Smooshing something, is this the vague?
Oh, to clarify it. Right, here we go. We got the suffocation-y thing. I couldn't move at all. I was so scared I passed out. Right, clarification. He doesn't know what it is. Someone was smooshing something. So this is a pillow or some other such thing then for him to have suffocated? I was joking about that earlier, but obviously that's the scenario that may have taken place. So this is probably what we're looking at here. The question is what we want to actually give him. I keep accidentally hitting things. Cause of death and suffocation, nothing was found in his lungs. Victim's dying message here. The victim was making soba noodles from scratch in the dressing room. The room is covered in soba flour. There are 2 drink cans in the fridge. The TV can be used to monitor the stage from the dressing room. What's being vague here? Wait, was he being suffocated with soba? Well, there's some kind of rag over there in the corner. Could that have been it? It'd be funny if he was suffocated with, like, soba that he intended to prepare, because he was... Supposedly there was nothing in the fridge, but there was supposed to actually be something else there, right? I know I'm going at here. I really don't. It's either going to be just... Basically, Owen saying he's suffocated, so it can't be the autopsy report, because that's already saying, you know, he knows it's suffocation. We're looking for a clarification on what we've suffocated with. Is there something in that room right now? Is that thing over there next to the knife the murder weapon? Or not? Was he basically suffocated with unprepared noodles? The last portion that he had left waiting in the fridge. Is this what I'm gonna give? I don't know what I'm doing, as usual. It's either that or, but that can't be it, because we already know he's saying that smooshing something in his face with suffocation, right?
Objection!
I'm gonna go with that and hope that it's a pointy. Is this right? Let's put a name to the thing Owen's uncertain of, shall we? By identifying the murder weapon that was used to suffocate the victim. Okay. Fortunately for us, I spy the murder weapon right here in this crime scene photo. Unfortunately for you, I spy nothing of the sort. And the police did not spy anything of the sort during their investigation either. Pray tell, where's this murder weapon you see? You don't see it because it no longer looks the way it did when it was used as a weapon. This is what the killer pressed into Master Tornado's face. It's going at a different angle. Damn it! Could it be the pillow underneath him? Can I change to a different shot? Well, it can't be the alcohol. Nothing was found in his mouth. It can't be this here. The deck of cards can't be it either. They're not flexible enough. Was it a Manju bun? Oi. I mean... Oh yeah, because it wasn't in the shape it was before. It is the noodles. He didn't hell them because the noodles weren't actually prepared yet. That's right? Right? But then this is going to make Bucky seem even worse.
Take that!
The mystery person that Owen saw pressed sober into the victim's face, thereby suffocating him. So I was right, it's just... I wanted to present that thing on the other floor from the other shot. Oh well, I'll grow weary of your tasteless jokes. How can anyone commit murder with soft, delicate soba? The noodles would instantly fall apart if they were pressed into someone's face.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I disagree. There is a way the soba could have been used to suffocate the victim.
What? You will explain your theory at once, Miss Sykes.
To kill Master Tornado, the culprit must have smothered him with uncut soba dough. Straight on. Boiled up soba noodles? No. Uncooked soba noodles? No. It's the dough itself. I'm right. The culprit must have used the soba before it was cut into noodles. In other words, the murder weapon was raw soba dough, and that's what I thought was next to the cleaver, by the way. I thought that was raw soba dough.
What? Order in the court. Yes, soba dough could definitely be used to suffocate someone, couldn't it?
Are you alright, Prosecutor Sad Maddie? I was just letting the soul of the victim know that the accused will finally face justice, thanks to the foolish lawyer before me.
Yep.
Huh? What are you talking about? Allow me to summarize your statements. As the accused was killing the victim, he was slashed in the face by the victim's knife. The weapon he used to suffocate the victim with was the dough in the dressing room. He then disposed of the murder weapon by cutting the soba dough into noodles.
Ah! Why, you smarmy...
Afterwards, the accused put the victim's face into the bowl of soba noodles and broth to wash off the blood that had dripped onto the victim's face from his own. And there you have it, the true sequence of events behind this foul affair. Now wait just a minute! I never once said that Mr. Wet was the culprit. Who but the accused knows how to cut dough into noodles? Defense.
That's a very good point, Prosecutor Sadmani. I heard that cutting soba dough into uniform noodles requires considerable training. But then what about the dying message? How do you explain that? A defendant wouldn't have known about Uendo's Owen personality.
Perhaps the victim was simply playing with the cards and they hold no other meaning. Perhaps he spelled out Owen's name in jest sometime before his murder.
That's true. Owen's testimony is clear that Master Tornado cared for the boy. It appears we've arrived at a compelling conclusion. Taken together, all of these points paint a convincing picture of the defendant's guilt.
Owen, is there anything else you can tell us? It doesn't matter how small of a detail, anything will do. Oh, you're scaring me. Oh, I'm sorry, Owen. Auntie Athena didn't mean to raise her voice. I have to be gentler with him. I can't forget he's only 5 years old. No need to be scared, okay, sweetie? Just tell us anything you can remember. Well, when I woke up, the person who killed Chisho was standing over me, bleeding from their head. Owen, you saw the killer's face? Oops, I did it again. So who was it, Owen? Do you remember? I don't know who it was. I'm picking up some noise. That means there's still something to uncover in Owen's testimony. I don't know what Owen saw, but suffice to say we are analysing the dreams of a child. You've wasted enough of our time, defense. Let it go and move on. No, there's still discord in Owen's heart that needs to be addressed. Therefore, I can't give in here.
Owen, do you think you can continue your testimony for us?
Okay. I'll enter the new info and run an update then. Once more into the breach, and that's a lot of statements now. That's 6, as he manages to count them out. Shisho had blood on his face and a knife in his hands. He was on the floor and somebody was smooshing dough into his face. Oh, we got normal emotions as well. I only just realised. Surprise and sadness, fine. Surprise and sadness, fine. Makes perfect sense. I couldn't move at all. I was so scared, I passed out. So look, emotions are dulling at this point because he's passing out, I guess, is what's going on there. And when I woke up, the person who killed Shisho was standing over me. Okay, well we obviously know what we're going for here. And that happiness might mean that it's someone that Owen recognises.
Got it.
If I'm right. Despite witnessing the culprit's terrible crime firsthand, Owen experienced a positive feeling. One of relief? The person the witness saw was no stranger, rather it was the accused. Therefore, it is only natural that he felt some level of relief when he saw a familiar face. Defense, end this madness and study your soul no more. Owen, who did you see? That nice smell. I love the smell. That perfume. How did we get to the lowest 30%? Oh yeah, when we presented. It's the smell of... You can do it. Try to remember, Owen. Oh, the smell of... Owen!
It seems Owen is now resting in the infirmary, which brings us to an annoying point to end yet another episode we were just about to find out. But perfume is an interesting thing to think about. So ends another episode of Phoenix Wright.
spirit of justice. We're well on the trail. We found the fourth personality. We've examined every pinpointy little bit. And now I think we're about to come to the true killer. Join me next time to find out who it is. Bye-bye.